And we're live. All right, awesome, cool. I didn't break anything. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for joining me today for another episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Sorry, we're starting a little bit of an hour late, guys. Running a little bit behind this morning. Had to stay up, of course, very late last night to watch the pump, to manage the positions, to communicate with everybody. So, as well as getting our giveaway, our next giveaway already in prep. So I'll be talking about that here in just a second. I want to give a big shout out to everybody. I want to give a big shout out to everybody joining me in the chat today, as well as everybody that's been coming by the Discord lately, stopping in, talking. It's been a really fantastic, awesome, and wonderful time. Doesn't seem like the restream chat's working on this page. Hopefully it gets fixed when we get into the other majigger, when we get into the other scene. But anyways, guys, of course, today is February the 18th, Monday. You know what that means. The week is starting, and it is not a Monday, Bloody Monday. In fact, quite the opposite. So, as I said yesterday in last night's stream, Sunday really begins the week. We really see what the institutional order flow is going to do, and we're going to see what kind of follow-through we get. From the larger players. And of course, last night, it was very indicative of the movement that we saw. Now, here's the thing, and I want you guys to be aware of this pattern when you're watching for which way the market is truly going to move. When you're looking at a local top, when you're looking at something that that order flow is going to sell into, what you're often going to experience is price near a local top, near resistance. You're going to see a very volatile stab up, a high wick up, with absolutely no follow through, and then immediately to the downside. That is typically how all volatile movements begin. They begin with a stop loss hunt to the opposite side of which way the market will move to clear out liquidity and to trap positions. That's exactly what happened actually right prior to Bitcoin breaking resistance, to Ethereum breaking resistance. But what I want to show you when we get to the charts is that, you know, you rarely see, as I talked about last night in the show, you rarely see just such a clean cut, beautiful break of resistance that, and as I said last night, once that occurred, once we had a candle open and close above resistance, the local area of resistance that I had charted out, I mean, it becomes very clear that now all opportunities are for buying. Now, can you be wrong in your analysis? Of course you can, and that's where risk management comes in. But you still have to take the no-brainer trade. When you see resistance get broke convincingly, you take the trade in the direction that resistance broke, whether that's to the upside or to the downside. And very clearly last night, and yesterday, excuse me, actually, during the show. I mean, we talked about this during the show. Both XBT and Ethereum broke to the upside. Now, as I talked about last night, I did not put on an XBT position. I took Ethereum. Why? Because there was more profit potential. And I'm very, very happy that I did that, as well as hopefully the subscribers as well. All right, again, Restream chat's still not working. I don't know what's quite going here and see if I can't refresh it. Sorry, guys. Just some minor details I got here. Browser. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic today. Working here? Oh, whoop, it looked like it was working there. I think I just messed it up. I think I just messed it up. Like I fixed it. Like I fixed it, and oh, there we go. Okay, it seems to be working. All right, sorry about that, guys. Wow, a lot of people watching today. Cool, awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so before we get into the charts, though, I do have to talk about the regular stuff, what we've got going on at Kraken Cryptocurrency, as well as one of our proud supporters. So for that, let's go over to this scene real quick. And we'll talk about this. So as you guys know, we just did a giveaway. We gave away 3 one-month spots to our premium trading group. Congratulations to those people who won. I have received one email from one of the winners. Although I know one of the winners was in the chat last night, and I did give you a shout out, but I haven't heard from you yet on the email. So guys, please get a hold of me. The contact at krakencryptocurrency.com. All the contact information's on the website. You can hit me up in the Discord. I want to make sure that the winners get their spot. But I did get an email from one of you. I'll be getting your role upgraded as soon as I get done with the show. So obviously we've talked about X42 before, proud supporter of the show. We are teaming up with X42 to do a giveaway again. We're going to be giving away 5 masternodes worth of X42. So 5 people are going to get enough X42 to run a full masternode. So for that, simply go to x42.krakencryptocurrency.com. Just the same way as the last time. This just went live like an hour ago. We already have 139 entries. So very fantastic. Of course, lots of ways to participate, guys. Yeah, we tried to focus a little bit more on the Tweetor this time. So yeah, you guys can tweet out with a hashtag. You guys can refer your friends. You know, everything that you want to do. You get bonus entries for all that. So I'm really looking forward to doing this. We're going to run this. I believe the original plan was to run this for a month. Although talking to the devs from X42, we might just run this for 2 weeks. We don't want it to drag on into infinity. So, but anyways, make sure you guys get in and take part of this. Very excited to team up with X42. All right. I did a Garth Asgard. I actually showed all 3, and that ended up being a mistake because, well, depending on how you think about it, I wanted to make sure that they knew that they won, but I did draw the winners randomly live on air. But I'm going to have to rethink that in the future because unfortunately it displayed their email addresses, so I don't want to be doxing anybody. Okay, so all this, that, and the third. Cool. Make sure you guys take part in that. All right, now, what you all came for. Over to the charts. All right, we're going to start off with spot price, guys. This is what I was watching last night. I thought this was very interesting. Because Tether, and again, I like to do my charting on, I normally do the charting, excuse me, I typically do the charting for long-term Bitcoin analysis on Bitstamp, which is very helpful for looking at old levels of support and resistance and for getting higher time frame analysis. However, when you're looking at what chart will actually move the market and what is the best chart to base your for example, your derivatives trades off of. So, for example, your BitMEX trades or your Deribit trades or whatever, what have you. You really do want to be looking at the BTC USDT chart. Why? There's just more liquidity, and I do find that it moves the market first, and that was actually a very time-trying experiment. And I want to give a thank you to the individual who actually helped me discern that. So you know who you are. Thank you very much. Now, what do I mean? What am I talking about? Well, if we look here very clearly at the daily chart of BTC USDT, we can see that the resistance trend line was broken much earlier than, for example, if we go look at the Bitstamp chart. So if we go look at the Bitstamp chart, we can actually see that we have not broken long-term resistance yet. In fact, this would be positing in, hey, maybe don't take a positional trade right now. So this would have actually had you locked in your socks and maybe locked out of a position unless you were simply buying the horizontal breakout, whether that was at 36.53 for you or whether that was at 36.80 or 3700, doesn't really matter. You can very clearly see here by just using the USDT chart, you would have been able to have confirmation of your trade earlier, because you can actually see that the candle that closed yesterday, so the weekly closing candle, actually did take out that resistance level and closed convincingly above it. And when we see something like that, what do? Of course, just my personal method for trading, I do go down to the 3-hour chart, and you can see here a very strong close and then an open and close above resistance. So if you were being very, very tentative, very speculative, of course, we did enter closer down here. If you were, or excuse me, well, again, I took the ETH trade, but I was calling for this earlier. And again, I don't get it twisted like I'm out here saying like I'm always right or ha 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 blah blah blah. No, I mean there's many times that I'm on the wrong side of a trade. It's my risk management and my overall trading strategy that allow me to be a profitable trader. But I just want to be pointing out for you guys the benefit of doing analysis of having clearly identified higher time frame levels on your chart, so that you can make better trading decisions. Why not just look at the BitMEX chart? Because the BitMEX chart can be a little misleading. Now, I generally do base my entries and exits, of course, off the BitMEX chart, but when you're looking for direction in the market, it does help to analyze spot price first. Because remember, we can just use a very simple analogy. We'll use a very simple analogy when we're looking at for something, for example, the difference between longs and shorts ratios. So for example, we're often looking to counter trend trade longs to shorts. When the longs become overly aggressive, we're often looking to counter trade them. When shorts become overly aggressive, we're often looking to counter trade them. Conversely, however, when we're looking at supply and demand, something like the market depth ratio, which is one of the data metrics that we do look at commonly on this show, more buying, more demand equals price appreciation. So conversely, while we are looking to counter trade the sentiment of traders when longs become overly aggressive about valuation of price, when we do see more buying than selling, then we are expecting price to appreciate regardless of where the sentiment of the futures traders are. So anyways, but we did have clear confirmation of the break. Whether you were looking for this candle, you were looking to aggressively enter on the open and close, or excuse me, just simply the close above the resistance trend line or the actual open and close, either way would have put you in your trade. This gives you a little bit more trickier risk management. Of course, the only way to manage this is once you have the open and close, you enter on the open of the next candle, and generally your stop loss is going to go below either the candle that did the breakout or your local level of support. The more aggressive traders, of course, would be placing their stop loss, or excuse me, the more conservative traders, would of course be placing their stop loss below local support, which did not give them bad R2R, especially looking at the upside targets here. So daily time frame, nothing's changed. Using our higher time frame analysis, we did have upside targets of 3,800. We did hit that. And of course, the next target coming in is up here. This is done using fib extension on a higher time frame as well. And because my thing's being a little tricky right now, just for BTC USDT, I don't know why, but that level is 40.23. Above that, we do enter into. Now, I just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page here. This is good. This is quite good. We have had a clear change in market structure. We are in a market environment where pullbacks are for the purposes of buying until the trend significantly reverses. Anybody else is, I think, over irrationally trying to short into a market that has not yet hit a critical level of resistance. For example, this is a rational area to short. we are approaching a critical level of resistance on a higher time frame. This is weekly resistance. This is a rational area to short. We are entering a level of critical resistance. We are in the proximity to the weekly time frames. This was a rational area to short because now you have had 3 touches of a trend line, so you have established a significant zone of resistance. So there was nothing wrong with shorting at this level, but again, we have broken through significant resistance now. So we have had a change, a fairly significant change in market structure. Now, do I think this means that we are immediately going to 5K? No, I'm going to be very cautious. We have still not broken a significant level of resistance, nor have we actually put in yet a higher high. We have still not yet put in a higher daily high. So the strategy remains the same. The overall analysis of the market must remain the same until we have until we break the level of 4,000 on a convincing basis, preferably on an opening closing daily basis would be confirmation of that. So the zone, we do have an upside target again in the lower 4,000s, but the area between 40.91 and 41.62, this zone right here that is delineated by the red lines on the chart. Of course, this is weekly resistance. If we go to the weekly chart of BTC USDT, you can see how I have delineated that zone. That is the open and close of the weekly equilibrium block. Again, just for the sake of those who are tuning into the show for the first time, what is an equilibrium block? An equilibrium block is a block on a higher time frame for me that signifies a shift or a weakness in market structure. So we can see here that we have a very strong downtrend. We put in a shift in market structure. We put in an equilibrium block. And so at this price level, the bulls sense weakness and the bears selling pressure. And of course, that is the area that is retested once, twice, 3 times on a weekly basis, pull back to a higher level of support, and then looking for the retest of that zone. It is very difficult to be bullish. It is very difficult to be bullish for higher price appreciation above 4,000 until that level is convincingly broken on a daily basis, because we are talking about weekly trend lines right here. I do think that anybody rushing to the table to short Bitcoin right now is probably likely to get their face smashed in. Because you are now trading against the trend. So you can see we have a weekly bullish trend. And again, you do not trade against the trend. Now, again, we are still in a bear market. There's no signs of that bear market being ended. Signs of that bear market potentially being ended would, in the short term, at least, and again, it doesn't matter, is the bull market over? The bull markets, or excuse me, you can't, and I've talked about this before, it's very difficult to say, hey, we're going to all-time highs. Hey, the bull market's in. That's completely irrational stuff to say until we're above the floor at 6150, 6200. Until we're above that level and we reclaim it, so breaking, pulling back, and claiming that area, you can't by all means say that the bull market's in, because this is the most significant level of resistance on the chart. When this level is broken, many market participants that were out of the market would be entering the market. However, until then, this area remains an area to sell into. The reason why is because you still have, I know a lot of people find this hard to believe, but you have a lot of trapped buyers who bought at 6,000 and who are underwater, who have not sold at a loss. As price approaches the break-even price for them, they would be attempting to sell, as well as technical traders like myself who just see this for what it is, which is a clear level of resistance. Okay. So on the daily time frame, the levels that I'm keeping my eye on are, of course, 4,000. That would be our next area to test. I don't really see, there's nothing really in between us and that. Do I recommend, of course, you have to manage your own trading positions, but you also don't want to chase parabolic movements. So of course, as with all things, healthy pullbacks are good to see, especially after nice movements like this. What are areas where price is likely to pull back to? Well, 3,800 is a likely price area to pull back to. You can wait and see how price responds to that level. 3,650 would not be out of the question. Of course, for me, I'm not looking for short positions until price closes back underneath this level or 3,500. Potentially even 3,565. I might begin looking for a short position at 3,565. So I know that is potentially irrational. It's not irrational. I know that some people are obsessed with shorting the top. I know some people are obsessed with longing the bottom. In my experience, banking your success, banking your career as a counter trend trader is stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. There is more profit to be made overall with conservatively, safely trading with the trend, just as we are right now. We are in an environment where you should have been in a long position on the break of resistance if you were paying attention to the charts. You are in a market structure right now where pullbacks are for the purposes of buying, where healthy retracements are good and positive to see. We want to see here, we want to see an established higher level of support. So at some point here, I'd like to see a healthy pullback, sideways consolidation. We form a local resistance from that, and you buy the breakout just again and again and again and again and again. You continue to move your stop loss up into a profitable area, and you continue to scale out partial profits as we go. Why would you continue to scale out partial profits as we go? Because we are overall, compared to this level from here, approaching the vicinity of resistance. On on BTC, we're only talking about 5 to 6% above us before we enter critical resistance levels. It's very hard. This is still an area that you would sell into, technically, once you get a bearish reversal. Now, should you blindly sell into the area? No. You wait for price to come up to this area. You look to take out mostly all of your profits at this point in time. And then, at least that's my personal strategy. And then you wait until you see a bearish reaction on a higher time frame. Or again, for me, that is I chart out significant levels on the weekly. I refine those levels on the daily. I trade off the 3-hour, and I enter and exit on the 15-minute chart. Makes life very simple. So yeah, there's not a whole lot to be said here, man. Bullish trend. Dips are for dips are for buying. You're looking for a higher level of consolidation for an entry. You're not looking to chase a parabolic movement. You never want to buy local tops, and you never want to short local bottoms. So just continue to take partial profits on your way up. Be very cautious of this resistance zone right here, which is a weekly resistance zone. Potential upside target is still 4023. 4023. And this is a higher time frame fib extension, which has worked quite well for us. All right, so a lot of activity in the chat. I want to give a shout out to everybody joining us, of course, today. Jasper, Tenacious V, Yo-Yo, hey, what's going on, man? The moon is cold to the sun. All right, thanks, man. Ankit? Hey, Texas Blues wants us to take a look at XLM. If we get time, we'll definitely check that out, man. Let me pull open my XLM. Noted. Consensus report says, well, I was hoping price would stay lower for a little longer. It's all good, man. Real Stogger Roach, thanks for joining us, man. Hopefully you're not late for class today. Hey, Moneymaker, how you doing, man? Thank you, Dr. Faz. I appreciate that, man. He says, I called it. Well, you know, it's a man in his charts, dude. Again, I'm not always right. But when you see something very clean and beautiful like this, and again, it was most clean and beautiful on the Ethereum chart. If we go over here to the Ethereum BitMEX, you can actually see. So this is the position. You just rarely see something just so clean and beautiful like this, man. Nice bullish formation, a nice symmetrical continuation pattern form, clear open and close 3-hour candle, breaking the horizontal level of resistance right here. Go to the daily so you guys can see that right there. Higher time frame resistance, governing price, nice close above that. No reason to not be bullish, man. Reason to not take the position. He wants me to take a look at Cardano. Take a look at Cardano. Chance. Data H19. Hey, Dysenzo, good to see you, man. Thelonious says, the Moon Boys are back. Thoughts about BCH? A lot to go over today, honestly. Red 5 Golf Gunny just got kicked out of CNN News for talking about crypto, man. Justin, what do you think why this dude didn't sell Bitcoins in December 2017? Wallet. I don't know, man. Long-term faith, belief, longer time frames. Difficult, man, to determine why somebody would not want to sell Bitcoins in December 2017. Most people didn't. Most people did not sell the top. You have many people underwater from purchasing at the all-time high. And this is why I think that overall investment in learning how to trade is, we're just understanding speculation. Hey, Christian Debit, good to see you, man. Agartha Asgard. Rick Schmidt says the harmonic Gartley played out. Maybe it's time people learn their harmonics. Hell yeah. The market is on fire. Power to achieve. Nerd Robert says bull trap. Daisenzo says over 600 Bitcoin fans and only 32 are happy with Bitcoin jump and possibility. Oh man. You're welcome, Conscious Vegan. Thank you for watching, man. Nick Crypto, good to see you, man. Edward Park, B Slice. Dream Piercing Maya says, thanks, Justin. I'm actually not losing so much these days after watching the stream. Well, thank you very much. I highly appreciate that. On Bitcoin USD Bitstamp, we are being held by the 100-day moving average. Do you think this will keep us down? Potentially. It's a strong level of resistance. Litecoin thoughts. The question is why and how did Ethereum lead the charge? Why didn't Bitcoin stay stable? What am I not understanding? Let's see here. What's interesting? So how do I answer that question? I think you might be looking for too much sauce in the pan, man. Ethereum is just more volatile. So since we understand that Bitcoin and Ethereum move in lockstep, when you see one convincingly break out, you can make the logical assumption that the other will follow. The reason why I took Ethereum as opposed to Bitcoin is that the chart was much cleaner, the pattern was much cleaner. If we go over here and look at the Bitstamp chart, you can see my cobbled together pitchfork, which again, if you guys go back and watch my pitchfork video, I do think that pitchforks, as far as chart patterns, are pretty much one of the very few chart patterns that I do enjoy trading. You can actually see here, and actually I got some flack for drawing this because I manually drew a pitchfork by hand, and they're like, oh my god, it's ugly. Look at it's not symmetrical. Well, guess what, man? The market's not symmetrical, but guess what this is? This is a hand-drawn, accurate representation of price action. You put in a local top. You are in a descending Barding channel where I had no interest in putting on any trades. Wrecked. But what do you see here? What do you see here? Right here at this point in time, you see a open and close above the midline and a clear break in local market structure. This is when I became interested in looking for a long. And then just as I said on the show last night, this was the candle where I actually entered into a long position. This is the candle. So, because of Ethereum, this is Bitcoin. This is the candle where I began to feel very strongly that we're going to move to the upside because we opened and closed above the upper line of the trend line after we already had an open and close above the midline, which we had not seen convincingly. So here, this is not convincingly because we wick up and we immediately reject back down. So not something that you want to be interested in trading. But when you see this with some follow through and then consolidation right near resistance and higher lows, and then what do you see here? A shakeout to clear a shakeout to get a shakeout, and then another shakeout, right? So this to get a lot of people to go short, this to trap all the shorts, make sure everybody thinks the price is going down, and then boom. So again, you could have waited for confirmation until this candle, but this candle right here and this candle right here were your confirming factors, where your best case scenario is to take the trade to the upside. Now, does that mean you're going to be wrong, or right 100% of the time when you attempt to buy breakout? No, but it's what you do, man. Trading is about stacking the odds in your favor. Gonna have to sorry, man, to remove you from the chat, man. Can't have names like that, dude. That's just a little too much. Hey, thanks, Jurgen. I appreciate that, man. Tony Aguilera asks, yeah, man, that's just a little crazy, man. You know, there's no need for all that, dude. Man, live streaming's a trip, man. Okay, so I think we've gone over pretty. Oh, so sorry. Let's go back and look at. So we've talked about Ethereum. We've talked about upside targets. Again, just as I said, man, like I know a lot of people are eager to short this. I know a lot of people are screaming for continuation, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. I mean, there's nothing logical with looking for shorting opportunities. There's actually nothing wrong with looking at this and saying, you know what, we haven't broken weekly resistance. I'm not going to go long. I'm not looking for longs. And they're looking at the opportunity here, and they're looking at the opportunity here, and they're looking at the opportunity here, for example. And they're looking at that and they're saying, okay, well, great. Yeah, sure, we've put in a 15% trade to the upside. But look, you know, I mean, I made 50% down here. I made 30 here, 15 here, 10 here. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, that's a classical method of looking and analyzing the market, saying that, listen, as long as we're in a dominant bearish trend and we haven't broken significant resistance to prove that the downtrend is over, then I'm not looking for longs. I'm only looking to take shorts. I mean, that is the definition of trading with the trend. However, I would argue that locally, that we have seen a significant change in that. Now, we've broken one significant resistance zone. The other significant resistance zone that I was looking at that we actually smashed through first was the daily 55 exponential moving average. Now, somebody had made a comment that we are being governed right now by the daily 100 period exponential moving average. Again, I'm going to assume that is, so I have to assume that they're looking at the simple. So let's take a stab and look at the 100 simple. Price, yes, coming against the daily 100 simple moving average. So, you know, it's your preference. It's your preference. So how can I be logically consistent with this? Logically consistent. Yes. So local resistance, of course, man. 100 period simple moving average seems like a likely area to run into resistance. However, what I'm going to default to is I'm going to default to my horizontal levels of resistance on the weekly time frame. So looking at that and taking that into account, yes, is this an area where we could experience a local pullback? Yes, absolutely. However, that does not change my opinion. It does not change my opinion that until we have a significant break in market structure, and again, that significant break in market structure is by crashing through an area where we've broken out of, dips remain for the purposes of pullbacks. Now, why does it pay, in my opinion, to be more conservative in that fashion? The reason why is because the opportunity cost is in your favor. So when you've broken significant market structure, again, you entered into an area where pullbacks are for the purposes of buying. Also, by the way, when you're talking about significant resistance, let's talk about the 55 exponential moving average, which did act as local resistance, had a little bit of a pullback, and then price just shot through it again. Now, again, you're not being overly... What's something that I say all the time, though? Don't chase parabolic movements. I'm not convinced, in fact, I'm fairly assuredly convinced, that looking for a long at this position, when price is looking like this, you never buy on big green candles, man. That's just a simple mistake. So if I were not in a position right now, I would not be looking to buy at this level in time. I would be waiting for a healthy pullback. So seems like a logical area to experience one, as you can see right now. But just because you hit resistance, I just want to make sure I qualify that. Just because you hit resistance doesn't mean you throw everything onto a short position. Again, for me, and again, you guys are free to trade your own way, man. My data metrics right now, my battle plan is to look at all opportunities while price is above 36.50. While price is above 36.50, I look at all pullbacks that consolidate and then break to the upside as buying opportunities. And I don't consider anything failure until we close below 3650, and then I really get tentative and I wait until pretty much a close below this level. I'd like to see 3500 touched before I look for shorting opportunities. Why? Because as I've talked about on higher time frames, the downside targets are quite nice. So from 3500 downside targets are 3100. We have obviously the local bottom, and then if we go back over here on a higher time frame, we do have the liquidity zone where buyers are likely to be. On BTC USDT, it's at 2826. On regular charting, it's 2900. So let's actually go to the higher time frames on the Mex chart so we can see that very clearly. All right. So significant support coming in at 3180 and then 2939 on the Mex chart. There are likely to be buyers underneath the liquidity zone at 2939. Should 2939 fail, then then things start to look a little nasty. That's why as we approach 3100 and this fails, basically. So looking at the Bitstamp chart, that also becomes quite clear. If 3648 fails to hold, then we're looking for short positions down below 3500, basically a stop loss at this level. And we're in a short position until we get significant signs of market reversal. And that's just the way to trade, man, in my opinion. Market's trending up, we're looking for long positions. If the market begins trending down, we look for short positions. All right, so enough of BTC USDT for right now. Go take a look at Mr. Ethereum. All right, just make sure we're very clear on what we're working with here. Now, I have, just for the purposes of explication, shown that yes, we do potentially have a level of local resistance. It's not the most significant level on the higher time frames on the daily, but we can see where we have initial support here, slight resistance, slight support. We break down, and now we're experiencing the level as resistance. That's 145.05. Price is currently trading above that on the Mex chart, and the next upside target for Ethereum USD is 156.50. As we approach the level between 156.50 and 162.45, it still becomes an area to sell into. So that level is convincingly broken. Why? Because that's significant resistance on the weekly. How do you tell the difference between a healthy pullback and a change in correction? Well, if when you have a healthy pullback to a significant area of previous resistance that you would expect to turn into support, and then you see price consolidation and then further movement upwards out of that consolidation. If, however, you see price fall back to a local level of support, if that local level of support doesn't hold, you can look to aggressively enter into a short, for example, although I still think that you're trading against the trend. Or if, for example, you fall back down to a previous level of resistance turn support, which you would expect all this support, you see consolidation and then you break to the downside, then that pretty much invalidates the consolidation and continuation to the upside. So for long positions, you're still in a scenario where all you're doing is looking to lock in profits. Now let's look at this area really quickly here on the 3-hour chart. Okay. Looking at the 8-hour chart for our trend and looking at the 3-hour chart for our price action, which is how I do things. We can see potentially here a swing high forming. A swing high is delineated by a higher high with 2 lower highs on each side. Okay. Now, when does this become a confirmed local high and we expect to see a pullback to a first level of 137.55? When the candle begins trading, ideally closing below the open of the last bullish candle. That confirms this area as a swing high, because as you can see here, we have a high, lower high, lower high. So if this candle fails, this would be a 1, 2, 3 pattern. And I'm not talking about wave patterns, just your simple 1, 2, 3 higher high pattern. And again, the first area that I would expect to see a healthy pullback to would be 137.55. Lower areas are 128.90, and of course the breakout zone at 123.31. Now, it's your preference when you're looking at something like that. You can be like, short, bust in the short, go. That's your preference, man. That's absolutely your preference. I'm not convinced that that's the absolute correct way to go. I prefer to not trade against, in my opinion, what seems to be the dominant trend right now. All right, so we've got Ethereum to the US dollar. We've talked about Bitcoin. So now, if you guys don't mind, just follow along with me, and I'm going to do a little bit of my own analysis. So all I'm doing right now is I'm comparing the different time frames to make sure that the unnatural volume function is correct on all of them. As you can see, obviously, we have unnatural volume. Now, typically, when you see unnatural volume at the top of a movement, typically an excellent time to be doing your selling. However, these price action candles right here, and this price action candle right here, as well as this one back here, are not similar because those candles did not break significant resistance. This is still pretty significant, guys. This hasn't happened. We haven't broken a local level of resistance in quite a long time. It's been nothing but breakage to the downside, continued breakage to the downside, continued breakage to the downside. So while, to be quite honest with you, while we're underneath the weekly level of resistance, I do have to assume that Bitcoin's price has the potential to fail and see lower lows. In the short term, I have to expect that we will at least see a retest of our next level of resistance, which would be this zone right here. But I don't trade my opinion. I am bound. I am bound to trade what the charts tell me to do. So here's what I'll be looking for, guys. If we look at the Fisher transform right here, if we look at my time transformer indicator, the 3-hour chart is telling us right here by printing its first purple arrow to be on the lookout for a potential sell. Now, although I'm not eager to rush into a short here, if we look at the Ethereum chart, and again, go down to the 3-hour chart, we just talked about that potential swing pattern formation. Now, 3-hour chart on Ethereum USDT has printed a couple potential sell signals right now. And one thing that I want you guys to understand, because I get this question a lot, when you have an indicator like this that I've designed, it's not that you blindly follow it. You don't just blindly follow it. As you can see here, if you blindly follow it, sometimes it's not going to do what you want it to. You have to use your own judgment. So for example, what I like to see, for example, when I'm trading against the dominant trend. So for example, as you can see here, So just so you guys understand, what I'm doing here with this indicator is that I'm looking at the trend on the 8-hour chart while I'm analyzing the 3-hour chart. Okay, so let's take this buy signal, for example, right? I like to look for a few levels of confluence. For example, I like to see divergence, or I like to see unnatural volume to justify a buy, or a market structure where I think it makes sense. So, for example, just to be completely quite honest, because I'm not going to cherry pick examples, if we look here, we can actually see that we do get a bullish divergence on this position right here, on this buy signal right here. That was a trade that would have not worked out for us. Of course, you're going to have your stop somewhere down here below local support, or a trailing stop for that matter, potentially, depending on where you buy it and what range you're trading with. Of course, I know people that use this to scalp, people in the members group that use this to scalp on extremely tight ranges. It's absolutely fine. But this would have been a losing trade. Absolutely fine. Take this one, for example. We have a buy signal. We don't have any bullish divergence, but we see a massive candle like this to the downside on unnatural volume. Generally not a bad indication to enter. And then a few candles later, we enter into a bullish trend, as denoted here by the candles printing white. Generally, the way that I use this is I take a speculative buy on an oversold condition, and then I look to double my position or increase my position, not double my position. I pyramid in, so which means I would buy half of what I initially bought. Of course, there's multiple ways to approach this. I teach multiple ways to do this. To scale in your position, and then boom, you're up here. We get a purple candle printed here, meaning a potential sell. You get confirmation of the sell on this candle, and you're generally out of the trade. Of course, this candle would have turned black somewhere around here. So even worst case scenario, you bought here and you bought here and you sold on the close of this candle, you still make a profit, but you have indications to sell up here. Okay, so what do I mean by that? What's the point of talking about this? So when we have, as we talked about, when we have a significant break in market structure, as we talked about, and we're looking to scale out in profits, this is a signal to scale out in profit. This is a potential signal to scale out in profit. When you're trading against a dominant trend, as you can see here, we're trading against a very dominant trend here if you're trying to take this to the downside. These are indications when you're oversold and you have a short-term cross under, there are opportunities to take profits. There are opportunities to take profits. Of course, you can adjust this as well. So I'm just using my default settings, but we can adjust this to the actual asset, which is, unfortunately, if you want to get the best results out of time transformation, something that you have to do. It can be individually tuned to any asset, any ticker ID, any time frame. Strap in, boys. We're going to the moon, Malachi says. Jeff Handsome asks, do I always use logarithmic charts? No, in fact, I'm not using one right now. The only time I use logarithmic charts is actually if I'm doing a long-term analysis of Bitcoin and I just want the information to be green better. Ricardo Jean Phillip keeps asking this question over and over and over and over again, but I will answer you, sir, and I would hope that you'd be satisfied with that. Happy to help, man. Can someone explain to me how bull run happens, please? How the price goes high? Well, there's more buyers than sellers, man. That's very simple. You know, I was having a conversation with somebody last night, and you know, we were just talking, and I said, man, you know, this is exciting. You know, like this is a good time, dude. Ethereum's just Ethereum and Bitcoin are skyrocketing. And the question they asked was, oh man, does anybody know why yet? And because there's more buyers than sellers. Like I don't even understand what that question means. Why? We broke resistance. Traders are more interested in taking the trade to the upside. More individuals are interested in buying rather than selling. Shorts are closing positions. They're adding fuel to the rally fire. There's, you know, in my personal opinion, man, the answers are right here. The answers are right here. The answers are not, you know, I don't even know what the website is, but the answers are not over here. Like I guarantee you. You go over to this website here, CCN, and let's just see here, man. I mean, there's just going to be article after article after article purporting to explain to you why this happened. But you know, just me, humble guy in my charts, or anybody else, I think with just some basic TA skill. Could have been over here watching this and said, hey guys, something's going to happen. And now the news is running desperately to try to explain why. So we're now printing a potential sell signal on Ethereum US dollar on BitMEX on the 3-hour time frame. Now we got to talk about the opportunity costs of looking for a short trade. So classically, the correct approach is to look at this as an opportunity to scale out a small portion of profits and to move your stop loss up below support. $15-minute time frame high, local high, lower high. If I was going to chew bubblegum and throw out a reason for breaking resistance of Ethereum, Scott, god damn it. I just talked about that. So if I didn't even see the chat, man, so I wasn't targeting you with that, just so you know. So if the only reason is resistance breaks, would you say sentiment has changed to positive due to some sort of change in overall opinion to the positive side? Nah, man, like I just don't think that that's I just don't look at the market that way, man. I don't think that news or anything or events drive the market in a fundamental way. Those things are already all priced into the market. Trapped. I'm trapped. Okay, I'm not trapped anymore. All right. But if I were going to chew bubblegum, man, I would have to say, if I were to throw out, again, it's difficult for me to do that, man, because I just fundamentally disagree with that approach. Yeah, I mean, sentiment just changed, man. You had a lot of people stacking on short positions, attempting to take the trade to the downside. You had overall negative sentiment. You had, all these, wannabe signal groups telling people, guys, we're going to $80 right now. We're going from here to $80. About that, man. Maybe we're going from here to $80, but pretty sure we were going from here to here. Sorry, man. I'm not trying to come off as flippant. I want to take your question seriously. I'm just not sure, man. I say sentiment. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sentiment changed and the idea of traders, man. I feel like I'm Eli back, man. The stash in Bitcoins for the past 2 months finally paying off. Would love to be able to sell and buy back in lower, but I'll just ride this up as long as I can. Lulz. By the way, here's to the best in the TA world. Man, thank you so much, Eli. Thank you so much for the $10 donation, my friend. You are one of the good ones, man. You're quickly going to be coming up there and rallying with Gabriel right there, man. Because I don't necessarily think they do, man. The functions of the project have nothing to do with price action or traders' opinion, buy or sell or bot to buyers. No, I really don't, man. I really don't. I think that traders and institutional traders, people who move the markets, are speculators by nature. And so broadly speaking, so when you're talking about, so I think that stuff applies to 5, 10, 20 year time frames. Yes. Like broadly speaking, my daughter apparently doesn't like Ethereum. Broadly speaking, when you're talking about, is an asset going to valuate over the long term? Is there overall interest from investors? Yes, that all comes from a fundamental approach. So do investors think that Ethereum's technology is sound? Otherwise, if so, there's going to be buyers eventually at some point, and there is going to be price appreciation and sustainable price appreciation if serious investors do have long-term faith in the project. But for short-term movements, which this is, let us have no doubt, this is short-term movement. This is trader speculation. Yeah, sure, man. Take a look at the Nerd Roberts charts. Baby capitulation. Baby capitulation. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. Make sure that I got your... Nick says, Justin, has anything changed in your overall opinion? Do you still think the low or the bottom is not in? Yeah, I'm very conflicted on that, man. Oh, it's not that I'm conflicted. It's just that, this all looks very nice. This all looks very nice. We've broken short-term resistance. I think that is significant. But we're not above 4,000 yet. And to be quite honest, guys, as long as price is below 61.50, and I know that sounds crazy, but as long as price is below 61.50, we do have the potential to go lower. Now, that doesn't mean, again, I don't trade my opinion. It's not like I don't purport to be an oracle. I know that some people have their orders down there at 2,000, and they're not going to get back in the market unless it goes down that low. I think that is the wrong way to go about it. I think that the correct way to go about it is simply... Nah, see, Red, again, that's the wrong approach, man. I'm not a psychic, dude. I just trade the charts. We're still in bearish territory, which means the potential for lower lows is possible, all right? But when you see sentiment change, you trade with the market, dude. This is not... I'm not telling people they missed the lows, because you should not be overly obsessed with buying the lows. No, very rarely do you buy the lows. Very rarely. Very rarely do you sell the tops. That is the wrong, pardon me for saying so, but I think that's a kind of immature and frustrated way of looking at the markets, and assuming that I can do more than any human being can do. There's no human being out there who's going to say, guys, the bottom's at this price and the high is at this price. So all you got to do is just set your limit order there and set your limit order there, and everything is going to be beautiful. Bro, there's no human being in the world who can do that, man. As a trader, I take the losing sides of trades sometimes. The only thing that allows me to be profitable and to do this for a living is risk management and overall profitability of my strategy, man. That's much more important, man. That's much more important from a trading perspective than looking at the charts and saying, okay, the absolute bottom's here. I have downside price targets, I have upside price targets, and I'll trade in whichever direction the market moves. If you sit and worry about, I missed it, I missed the bottom, or that guy was wrong, you know, why wasn't he 100% right? Why did his take profit target come $3 short of take profit 1? You know, there's personal responsibility that needs to be made for trading decisions, man. And I never purport to do more than I'm capable of doing, man. But overall, it seems to me that I'm right most of the time, or right more often than I'm wrong, which is all I care about. But yeah, man, don't be overly frustrated or worried, man. If you think that you missed the bottom or top, dude. Whoa, what's going on? I'm trying to. So I've been looking at this for a while, man, and I'm gonna need you to explain. And I put my stop loss around 36.50. Okay, so I'm gonna need for you to explain to me what I'm looking at here, man. I'm sorry. I don't want to sound you know, disrespectful, but I'm just not sure what it is that I'm supposed to be. Does Bitcoin being bullish change the way you trade alts? No, not really. I'm still pretty speculative on them. I think that you know, here's the thing, man. You know, I have 70%. I keep 70% of my stack on futures platform. I keep 30% of my stack on Binance. 15% of that's in USDT. 15% of that's in BTC. The 15% that's in BTC, I don't worry about its USD value. It's just there for the purposes of accumulating more Bitcoin. So that is a 15% investment of my trading portfolio, just for the purposes of acquiring more of a primary investment. Okay, I have long-term faith in Bitcoin. I am willing to accumulate more Bitcoin at a USD loss with a small portion of my portfolio in the midterm. The other 15%, the other half of my portfolio that's on Binance, always stays in USDT. I only trade USDT pairings. Other than that, I maintain the USD value of my portfolio by pretty much constantly being in the market, either long or short. Unknown says, I asked you yesterday for inverse correlated coins to Bitcoin. You ignored me. Hey, Pumpkin. All right, cool, man. Sure. Let me point you in the right direction, man. Enroid.com, man. This is what you want. This is a very good resource. You know, in fact, let me switch over to news and stats, bro. Let me hop over here. I asked you a question and you didn't answer it. I'm sorry, man. A lot going on, bro. It's not personal. In a world with hundreds of people in the chat room, one man must have employees to answer all the questions. So if you come over here to enroid.com, bro, and you go to correlations, I just click on correlations at the top. This is going to show up a correlation factor between +1 and -1 for you. Okay, so you can see Bitcoin, you can see coins that are positively correlated, you can see coins that are negatively correlated right here. And the higher the negative correlation factor, the more negatively correlated they are. So as we can see right here in time, Bitcoin is just running train on the market. The only, well, actually, we can click on it and we can see more negatively correlated coins. But currently, the top negatively correlated coins are Ignis, BCO, and TRX, as we saw. So this will explain the BTC correlation evolution. So obviously correlations change over time. I really do like that about Enroid. You can roll down here and see the heat map. So what is negatively correlated at what time frame? You know, here's 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, 45 days. Ideally, you're looking for a negative correlation in the short term. So Zem, negatively correlated. Strat, negatively correlated. MakerCoin, negatively correlated. Komodo. So, you know, just looking at Bitcoin, you know, as the underlying asset for most of these trading pairs, you would expect for them to be devaluing. You would expect for those coins to be devaluing. And the coins that have positive correlation, the highest positive correlation, you would expect to be going up with Bitcoin. There you go, pumpkin. So as we can see right now, the coins that are negatively correlated most significantly to Bitcoin on the longer time frames. Go to here. Oh, there's 2 R's in correlation. Duh. Probably going to give me a holy guacamole. I didn't click on the link. Nah, there we go. Sweet. It worked, man. Rex, BCO, and Ignis are the most negatively correlated coins. Somebody said something about EOS's PR. Let's go. Boom! Oh, damn. Good time to buy some EOS. Crazy, dude. Somebody just threw a big-ass buy order on EOS is what that means. Ooh, yeah. They just market bought the hell out of that. Pretty simple, man. And EOS right here. No indication to sell yet. Not bad, man. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like in my house. Yep, for sure. All right. Well, you know what that means. And let's go share this here right now. Patience, Padawan. Patience. Patience. Vitamin A. XRP. 22K. Save yourself, guys. That's the link to Enroad, guys. There we go. My house is going crazy right now. It's like they know. Hey, user. And a lot of subs, guys. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate that. Give a shout out. Give a shout out to the sub love, guys. Oh, what do we got going on? Thank you so much. Jim Ward, JPM destroys XRP. That reminds me of like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, man. I love that show. Tan Medar, Richard Mingens. If I mangle your last names, guys, I apologize. Rahul Mishra, Jean-Loic Anton, Fizzle, Xavier76, H. Jun Choi, and Dan Manoim. Thank you so much for the subs on YouTube, guys. Highly appreciate it. Welcome to the community, guys. Looking forward to chatting with you guys. If we go over here to elements, did they like, is this completely changed? Is a weird activity feed. I want to thank, wow, a lot of follows on. Crypto Curious, L Boost, Andro Hack 1976, Chun Norris 34, BTAX 230, Summons or SS Humans, I don't know. Rui 1971, Griseldi, Fishbone 07. Thank you so much for the follows on Twitch, guys. Highly appreciated. Welcome to the community, guys. All right. Seems like, yeah, if you wanted to be really aggressive, this wouldn't be a bad play. Or ideally, you wait to see what price does at this level. A little bit of hidden bearish divergence on the 15-minute chart. After bearish divergence right here at the local top. No divergence to speak of on the 15-minute. Or excuse me, on the 3-hour. But yeah, coming down here real nicely to 140. The next area that I want to keep my eye on. And we'll reevaluate that. EOS. Let's see here. What I want to do to you, buddy. Definitely don't want to buy you. Oh no, I can't chase that. Do I want to short you? Probably not. I probably don't want to do anything with you going all whack-a-noodle like that. Yeah, it come up to local resistance. That's broke the resistance trend line right there, guys. So this is a nice clean example of a breakout too. Consolidation on relatively low volume at a resistance level. A clear pierce above, a pullback. This is called reclamation or reclaiming resistance as support. You open and close candles above that level right here, and boom. That would have been a logical sell. Yeah, when you approach resistance on high momentum, anything like this is going to initially get sold into. So if you're scalping, I mean, you can take this to the downside, but I mean, you want to be, I think you want to be pretty cautious. Looking here at the 15-minute chart, we could see continuation right here. Nice bullish movement, a little bit of sideways consolidation, continuation, nice bullish movement, continued movement, potential follow through. So just classically, the way to do this is to look at this horizontal level, wait for 3 or 2, depending on how tentative you want to be, 2 or 3 15-minute candles to print above it. Then you can take it to the long side. Stop loss goes below support or below the candle that breaks the resistance level. A nice upside target right here. Stop loss about 1.4% away. Not a bad idea. But yeah, I wouldn't be too short this right now. Might actually have some more follow through. Well, there's kind of a sell wall now on spot price, bro. As there should be with with price this high. I mean, everybody's rushing to sell. Whoa, I just broke the computer. That's all good. It's all good. In a world where EOS has already pumped 15%, would you be a dummy for trying to take it to the long side? Hey, thanks so much, Money Manager, for the follow on Twitch, man. In a world where Ethereum longs to come down. In a world where we're getting a sell signal on Ethereum daily longs, by the way. Oh, by the way, Ethereum longs hit at ATH. Point that out. Dun-dun-dun-dun. I want to make sure that I represent both sides of the argument, guys. So we'll compare the price on Ethereum Finex. All right. And here's the daily chart of longs and shorts. And pretty much every time that you've gotten a daily sell signal on the Ethereum longs was a good time to enter into a short. Kind of looking at shorts, or excuse me, longs. You can always use longs as a leading indicator. This would seem to posit, I want to look at it, but would seem to posit that if this trend gets broken, that potentially you're going to see some pullback. Hey, Jürgen Ernst says, Justin, do me a favor and give Crown's Crypto Cave a mention. Since he did the same for you today, he compliments your stream nicely, although you're still better. Thank you, man. I highly appreciate that. No, you know, I don't know Crown personally. Interestingly enough, and you know, nothing's confirmed or anything, but last night I did come across a shared Discord server where I see, I don't know if it's him, but there's some analysts in there and they post content into, and one of the co-admins for that Discord server is somebody that I know. So reached out to him last night and I was like, hey man, you're free to throw my channel in there if you want. So, but yeah, I've watched Crown's show a couple times, man. He definitely seems like he knows what he's talking about. So shout out to him. I Newton says, taking a break from the vape, Justin. Funny. Oh yeah, we got the showbiz people in. Can't we just badmouth Craig Wright instead? Thank you, Joe Ackermans. I appreciate that, man. Why am I on the 5-minute chart? Never look at the 5-minute chart. All right. The boys, we're going to the moon. The Golden Cross is real. In a world where all dips are getting purchased. But longs are in a dangerous situation. What will break first? Sorry if there's a lot of dead air on the show today, guys. I mean, it's just, there's not a whole lot to do except sit here and watch and wait, man. Bullish trend. You know, you're looking to lock in profits. You know, if you want to be a little treacherous, man, look for opportunities to scalp short. But ideally, you're looking for pullbacks to significant levels of support, man. You're looking for some sideways consolidation. And other than that, man, you're just happy. Come on, man. We haven't had happy times for a while. Don't rain on the parade, guys. This is good times. Jay Constant says, where do you think we'll be at the daily close? Well, you know, I'll be honest with you. I'd like to see, here's what I'd like to see for continued bullish movement. After something like this, I'd like to see a little bit of pullback and some consolidation around 3,800 would be nice to see, to hold that psychological level. and then a continued movement upwards, which would piss a lot of people off. Alternatively, I'll be quite happy if price just continues to come up here to 4,000. We're only $100 away. We're only $100 away from second XBT target, man. So stop losses should be right here, ideally. And if your stop loss gets hit, you're looking for consolidation and looking to take the trade to the upside if it breaks to the upside. Again, I'm not really looking for positional shorts. You know, if I want to be active in the market, if I want to be active, then I'll look for scalps, man. But like I just talked about a few minutes ago, you know, this would not be out of the question. So if we see Bitcoin doing a little bit of a failure like that, you can probably expect Bitcoin to have a pullback at this point as well. When we're looking at the levels where Bitcoin is likely to pull back to, again, same thing on XBT, stop loss at 37.80. If we pull back and reclaim the trend line on BitMEX, of course, if we're looking at BTC USD as a leading indicator, we've already broken that trend line a while ago. So we have to push our, what's the word I'm looking for? We have to set our standards a little higher. We have to assume that 3,800 holds. We have to assume that this consolidation zone holds. But all that means is that you're out of a long. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're looking for a short. As long as you're above 36.50, guys, pullbacks are opportunities for buying. Price below 3,500, all rallies become selling opportunities. The next area that I would be interested in selling into would be this zone right here. After taking profit right here, or reducing risk and really tightening up my stop. Depends on if the market blows through this, or kind of comes up and just consolidates there. Everything you kind of have to gauge everything within the lens of risk to reward. Yeah, we came like $3 shy of my target right here. So this is what my day is going to look like, guys. Just a lot of this. A lot of this. This is what we do. Well, you keep talking, man. Yeah, I mean, so the other logical extrapolation you could take from this is that, okay, guys, well, listen, BTC and ETH have already done their thing. So what we should be looking at is coins that have not yet hit their target. So, for example, let's go take a look at our other big ones. So we'll take a look at Ripple, and we'll take a look at Litecoin. So first thing we need to look at is spot price for XRP BTC. Spot price for XRP BTC. So this is really nothing's changed on my setup, guys. Still feeling bearish about ZERP's price action, and I will still be feeling bearish about ZERP's price action until price is above 85.50. 85.50 is the invalidation level for a short play. I still don't see any reason that you should be overly excited about taking this to the upside. If we do bottom here on a daily basis, however, that would be a little bit more bullish divergence. We did see some bullish divergence here, gave us 2 days of upside, and then just complete rejection again from my invalidation zone. I actually need to see a close above this. The reason why I need to see a close above this is because we're talking about higher time frames, higher targets, guys. Closure above 85.50 would, to me, posit a return to 99.31. A next stop on the way to 115, and then ultimately 1.4, which is my upside target for XRP BTC. Anything else is just kind of in between, kind of wibble wobble stuff. Not overly interested in that. Downside targets remain 74.88 and 63.82. Until we come upon significant support at 62.50. Below 62.50, it's 40.10. So, yeah, just higher time frame structures, guys. So to say that XRP is doing well that's not true. XRP is not doing well. XRP is putting in a Darth Maul candle at the bottom of a downtrend. So it had a little bit of a pump, like a 1% pump, I think, a 2% pump, and then just sold into. Now, it did grab for liquidity to the downside, but I mean, you just don't trade something like that, man. You wait for confirmation. Let's go to another 3-hour chart, see what ZERP's doing. Yeah, man, it looks nasty, dude. Nasty. Got a descending trend line, haven't been able to close above it. Lower highs and lower lows, man. Doesn't look good. ZERP does not look good. ZERP does not look good. And I'm willing to be wrong about that until price can come up here and show me. You know, show me the money. Show me the money. Other than that, dude, you guys have fun taking ZERP to the long side right now. I will wait. XRP USDT. See if we have Confluencer. XRP USDT looking a little better, I'm not going to lie. So if I were to take a cleaner trade chart, it would be XRP USDT. And there's nothing wrong with that, guys. You know, different fiat pairings, different everything, dude. So we have the invalidation zone right here at 32.80 cents or 0.32802 tether. I think if we get a nice close above this, I might potentially be looking to enter into a long position. We do see that there's really nothing in between here and 37.685 cents. So that would be a nice little juicy trade. You would have a initial take profit target right here, of course. Oh, what are you doing? Get down there. All right, you would have an initial take profit target at 34 cents. So that would not be a bad breakout trade to take for XRP USDT, but Bitcoin pairing looks like crap. I wouldn't touch that with a pull. But here's the thing, man. When you approach, as we've said many times, man, when you approach resistance on high momentum, what do we see here? Approaching resistance on high momentum, often you do end up rejecting from resistance. So ideally, what I'd like to see is consolidation, some nice healthy consolidation, close to resistance here, for a few days or maybe can I get a few hours? And then a nice healthy break above a 3-hour candle opening and closing above the resistance trend line, then I might look to take a breakout trade to the upside on XRP USDT with upside targets of 34 and 37. But not in 10. So we'll keep our eye on XRP USDT. But as far as taking a leverage trade, no, I don't think so, sir. I'm doing things. Wow. I'm going to need to see more before I want to risk my capital on a ZERP leverage trade. But if I had to suggest tentatively some levels, the important levels to be looking for on XRP H19 are, of course, going to be 86.95, 85.08, 82.96. I can go ahead and delete this level now because that was the delineation for the XRP short that we put into. Yeah, much less data just to trade the futures contract chart here. So it really does help to get a good beat on spot price. Now, if I did have to say some positive things about XRP H19, if we're looking at my short setup, obviously we can see where the stop loss was. So entering into the bearish trend, we can see where we're scaling into positions on our 15-minute sell signals right here. We break the trend right here. and we're out of the trade. We have another resistance trend line that's formed right here. We find support off this one, so this is an invalidation if you were waiting for confirmation of this trade right here to the downside, taking profits. And then we break this one to the upside, and now we seem to have reclaimed support. So potentially, if you want to spend more time on ZERP than I want to spend time on, for example, Ethereum right now, that's totally fine. That's your preference. But I guess that's all about ZERP, man. Definitely got the potential on there for a decent trade, but I'm just going to wait and be patient, man. In a world where I don't think this is going to get bought up until 137.55, 50. Taking it. Some crypto traders must find the courage to counter trend trade. Anyways, moving. Okay, so we talked about ZERP. Let's talk about Litecoin, daily time frame. Now, see, Litecoin's kind of interesting to me. Litecoin, same kind of thing here too, but I'm going to be a little bit more tight with my Litecoin idea here. So as we can see here, higher time frame analysis, we have significant resistance on Litecoin coming in at 0.013. Okay, we came up, tapped on that, pulled back, formed a little bit of a higher high. So now we have an invalidation zone for any bullish trade. That invalidation zone is 0.011549 or 0.0115 if you like to round, as I do, because again, we're drawing in crayon, not fine tip marker. So if we are to convincingly break 0.013, then our next upside target is going to be 0.015484. That's just, there's no other way to look at it. There's nothing in between here on the break, on the daily open and close above to hold us back from that level, okay? So when you're talking about bull run potential, once we get above that, then we've got to start looking at take profit targets above previous highs, dude. We really got to start looking, talking about take profit levels above previous highs, man. So, you know, Litecoin being a very strong leading indicator here. Now, there's more clear data. There's clearer data on the Bitcoin and Ethereum charts. So I don't want anybody to get irrationally wrecked or overly exuberant, man. Like when, you know, that's what's sad, man, is that, you know, there's just been such good trading opportunities here lately, dude. And so many people get on the wrong side of the market or, you know, enter in at the exact wrong time or become overly irrationally exuberant and they make poor trading decisions. Hopefully, man, hopefully, thanks, Anne Marie. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. Start on the weekly, identify your important levels, refine those levels a little bit on the daily. Watch the 3-hour chart to get a general idea of what the market's doing today or within the span of a few days. And then once you've got areas picked out that you want to react from, just go down to the 15-minute and wait for the confirmation. But you don't start on the lower time frames and build yourself up. No. You will drive yourself absolutely crazy. Litecoin daily chart. Litecoin daily chart. What do we see right here? We see the fissure above the neutral zone. Not bad to see. We do see a higher low posited in. We did see a little bit of bullish hidden divergence. All right. Cool to see. Cool to see. Higher low, lower high on the oscillator. Sign of strength. Sign of strength. A little bit of local resistance coming in at 0.012168. Let's see if we can close the daily above that. Really, in my opinion, the positional trade is to wait for the breakout of 0.01314 and look for the upside trade, making sure that you do not get SFP'd, i.e. that you just have a little bit of a higher high and then complete failure. You do not want to see that. You want to see follow through. I'm going down to the 3-hour chart for a potential Litecoin trade in the short term. What do we see? We do see a breakout and a potential reclamation of that 0.012168 level on the 3-hour chart. That's going to be your governing factor. All right, entries and exits, 15-minute chart. What do we see here? We do see some short-term, blah, blah, blah. We do see the breakthrough of that area and the potential reclamation. Now, if we start getting nice bullish reaction from this level, as we're potentially seeing right now, then you can go ahead and get yourself into a long trade if you want to. Got you would have upside targets of 12837. And then, of course, probably looking to be out of your position at that point in time. And then you're just patiently waiting for the higher time frame structure to break. Let's go ahead and put that level on the chart as a potential target. And invalidation level, well, if we close below here. So that doesn't make, we have a problem here now with risk management. We have a problem here with risk management. But that is the trade, guys. That is the trade. So looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, and not really sure that I want to take any actions. Kind of wiggle woggle. Again, I think the better trade is to wait for confirmed rejection from this zone, or to play the breakout to the upside. Let's see if LTC USDT is going to tell us anything different. LTC USDT. See, I like LTC USDT quite a bit more, honestly, guys. This seems to have the better potential. Don't really have any resistance, man, until 72.15. Of course, you can be looking to scale out profits at these trouble areas right here, previous swing highs, of course. You do have that descending level up right there. Turn magnet mode off. Oh. Settings. That does not extend. Excellent. Yeah, so just, natural breakout behavior, man. Looking to scale out profits above swing highs. Now, what I'd like to see is the daily fully reclaim this level, man. We're piercing the level of the daily chart on LTC USDT. What I'd like to see, or taking another LTC USDT position, is this level get successfully reclaimed, all right? So what you do is you wait for a little bit of consolidation here, or you wait for us to start trading above, at this point in time right now, 48.74. Let's see, or you can even be a little bit more speculative, 48.92. Let's call it 49 bucks. You're waiting for price to go 49 bucks. That's technically your trigger to enter because you are now trading above higher local highs. Zone. And then at that point, your stop loss would tip here. Okay. Your stop loss can go here to be a little bit more aggressive, or more conservatively, of course, your stop loss can go below your local swing low, coming in at $40.40. Now, we do need to close. Closure below this level puts me in an area where I'm potentially looking for rallies to sell into, but I don't really scale into a hardcore short position. And using this as a leading indicator for LTC BTC, of course, until we get to $40.40. Of course, if you're on something like Kraken, you can just take LTC USD side once, or if you're on Bitfinex. Don't do a lot of my trading on Bitfinex. What's going on, Mal? Good to see you, man. No, Cracking Crypto, no. Or RJ Jamal. Sorry, man. Why am I talking to myself? Been doing the show too long, man. No, USD, the BTC pairing does not need to go up for USDT, for USD pairs to go up, because people can speculate with fiat currency and not Bitcoin. In fact, I think the reason that USDT pairings are going up more than BTC pairings right now are because people are not selling their Bitcoin to buy altcoins, but people are taking their Tether and their USD to speculate in altcoins, like me. I would rather use my BTC to speculate on BTC and Ethereum, for example, than to sell my BTC to speculate on altcoins, or to sell my USD to speculate on altcoins. Any speculation on alts once Bitcoin stops this parade? Well, if Bitcoin consolidates at higher levels, typically the market cycle that we see is that Bitcoin and Ethereum take a nice move upwards. They consolidate at a higher level. The large caps pump, then the mid caps pump, then the small caps pump, and then the market dumps. That seems to be the modus operandi. Hey, what's going on, Skyway? What's my Q4 2019 prediction? Don't think of the market in terms of that way, man. That's what oracles do. I'm just a trader, man. I'll see what the charts look like at that time. I think all that, listen, I really think that all that stuff's just going to get you all, it's fun to talk about, man. It's really exciting to talk about, but it's just completely unrealistic, man. Like, there is not a human being in the world who knows when price is going to go up or go down. It just doesn't happen, man. You look at statistical likelihoods, higher time frame levels of support and resistance, the psychology of retail traders, and you just base your decisions based around that, man. Anybody who says otherwise is trying to promote fraudulent voodoo. We do not promote fraudulent voodoo on this channel. We only promote honest voodoo. Time transformation. BitConnect. No. I'm thinking about making a video on arbitraging. The website that a lot of people, unfortunately, have had their funds locked out of. I've kind of been, honestly, it wasn't really on my radar until recently. Man, I don't want to make it very controversial, but I have some pretty strong opinions about what's going on over there. So we might make a video about that. I want to keep my eye on this right here. A pretty good leading indicator right here, guys. So something that you'll notice that I do here is when I'm, hopefully you guys can see it. What I'm doing is I'm actually compiling longs from all from all fiat pairings on Finex. So ETH USD, ETH Euro, ETH British Pound, ETH Japanese Yen, and then compiling them to USD. So what's a good price to sell Litecoin? Again, that is dependent upon your time frame, your analysis, your risk appetite, where you bought. I mean, to be quite honest, like, this looks like a good level to sell Litecoin, at least in the short term. I mean, it depends, man. If you want to be a long-term hodler, I'm a trader, so I frequently get in and out of positions. I'm not overly interested in holding long-term bags. That's never really been my approach to the markets. I think that that gets a lot of people hurt more than it does help them out. I mean, the one time that they happen to be on the right side of the market, they never sell at the right time because they get overly irrationally exuberant. But, oh man, things look pretty good right now, dude. I'm not going to lie. Things look pretty good. So, we just one thing at a time, one Satoshi at a time, man. If we open and close the daily above 49 bucks, it seems pretty logical to me, really above 47.85, which we're trying to do right now. Seems pretty logical to me that you stay in your long position and you look to scale out profits here, 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 and here. So let's be very clear about what those levels are. What are your scaling profits out levels? You're scaling profits out at swing highs. So we've got 4 of them. Take 25% of your profit off at each level, man. We've got 1. We've got 2. We've got 3. We've got 4. All right. Boom. You've got 56.88, 61.86, 65.67, and 69.45, man. You pick yourself up a nice big bag of Litecoin right now, LTC, USDT, I would sell here, 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 and here, man. And I would take a loss if we close the daily below this level, 45.29, man. And I would look to short the hell out of the market below $40.40. Simple as that. Now, if the daily doesn't open and close above this level, then you're not doing anything. If you want to be highly aggressive, then you're waiting for price to trade right here above $49. That's just the way you do it, man. And then guess what, guys? When we get to $72.15, we're going to do the exact same thing all over again. So just to give you an example of how I approach the charts, and this is how I try to teach people to do. Approach the charts from a higher time frame perspective. I do prefer to go to the weekly chart. What do we see here? Do we see a very significant level of weekly higher time frame support? Yes, support for 2 weeks, support for 3 weeks, support for right here, breakthrough, confirm resistance, retest. Seems like an extremely important weekly level for me. All right, cool. We've got a very significant level of weekly time frame support. Now we go down to the daily. Do we need to refine that level whatsoever? Looks pretty gosh darn good to me. So when we break $72.15, what's the next area that becomes significant resistance? 106.50. What do? We look to take profits here, take profits here, probably take profits here. And then if 106.50 breaks, what do you guys think? At that level, if 106.50 breaks, then we're going to have to... if 106.50 breaks, then we just have to be on longer term weekly trending conditions and look to take profits here, here, and above the swing high. RJ Jamal says, "Sorry if I missed a crack in crypto. Where's your LTC USDT stop?" Hopefully I just delineated that, man. Sorry. I know I get a little wild and crazy sometimes, guys. I'm just trying to have fun. And for ETH USDT, let's go over to ETH USDT. Sorry. Right now, my ETH USDT stop would be at $140. And at that level, I would be looking to reevaluate. Hey, I want to give some sub love, guys. Toshi bought me a Costco hot dog and Coke. Hell yeah, dude. Big shout out to all the subs, man. Thank you guys so much, guys. Nowhere Man, Vedic Sage, Craig Neve, Richard Lay, John Del Senor, Richard Herring, Tony M, Chase Martin. Thank you guys so much for the subs on YouTube. Welcome to the community. Thanks for joining, man. And of course, the Money Manager. Thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. What? Another one? 18 Mile Creek. Thanks so much for the sub love, man. Highly appreciate it, guys. Let me make sure. Is that thing working? Yeah, it is. Cool. You are prominently displayed at the bottom. All right, cool. So let's, we're getting close. Yeah, man, we're getting close to where we got to wrap up, man. It's 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock my time. I've got to go ahead and make sure that I manage these positions very well for the premium subscribers. I've got some footage to shoot today, as well as some mentoring, of course, as we always are doing in the Discord, man. Let's end today with just a recap of what I think's going on, guys. Let's just look at the big ones here real quick. Let's look at Bitcoin, of course, to the tether. We'll use the tether because this is the leading indicator. Listen, okay, let's just be very clear, man. Things are looking very positive. Okay. The significant higher time frame levels that are on the chart that are really the only things that you should be basing your mind around, excuse me, in my humble opinion. $4,032 would be my next and last take profit target for a Bitcoin USDT long. When we reach the area, when we reach the trouble area between 40.32 and 41.57, let me make sure because for some reason on the tether pair, so 41.61 and 40.88. So when we reach those levels, and feel free to round those up and round those down. As we approach these levels, the logical move, I'm sorry, is still to sell into these levels. Why? It's the weekly equilibrium block. It does actually take a significant closure, a convincing close above these levels to be looking for higher time frame targets. We do have a trouble area at 4,500. We also have a slight trouble area at 5,000. And then things look good. If you wanted to be very cautious, you would wait until the daily open and close above 4,500, and you would look to take the trade to the 6,000 area, 6,150. Potentially looking to scale out profits around 5,800, 5,900. And then again, once we reach that level, still the logical move is to sell. Why? Because we have a lot of trapped longs, and not longs, but everybody that bought spot price at these levels that is still underwater. As price approaches break even, they will likely sell into it, as well as technical traders like myself who just see this level for what it is, which is significant, the most significant level of resistance on the chart. If and when price breaks through and reclaims this level very convincingly, then I would expect the rally to be fairly significant. And again, just as we're talking about with Litecoin, you look to take profits above previous swing highs, guys. It's very simple. In the interim, after the entry, where we were talking about entering XBT again, remember very clearly that for me personally, I took the ETH USD long. The take profit target of 3,800, 3,780. We were talking about on the Bitstamp chart. We were obviously talking about the resistance trend line, obviously on the BitMEX chart as well. We blasted through that as well as the daily 55. Seeming, as somebody well pointed out, seeming like we are having local resistance at the simple 100 daily moving average. A nice pullback at this level would not be out of the table. I would like to see price pull back slightly and consolidate around 3,800, move sideways a little bit, establish a higher floor. If price breaks to the upside, that's your opportunity to enter into the long if you haven't already. Don't try to catch falling knives and don't try to chase parabolic movements, guys. If you're not in a Bitcoin position right now and you're looking at the chart right now and you're saying to yourself, oh my God, I missed it. It's never going to pump this hard. It's never going to move this far. I can't believe I missed this trade. Why do I even do this? I suck at trading. I hate my life. I'm going to go kick my dog. Just stop, man. Stop thinking that way. You know what I mean? There's always going to be another trade. There's always going to be another position. You don't irrationally enter into a situation that you have not strategically planned to enter. This is trading, man. When you click that button, your money is in the market. And any error on your part is going to end up incurring you a loss. You do not do that. If you want to do this profitably, if you want to do this successfully, if you want to be a successful speculator or a successful trader, you do need to approach this seriously with strategic planning in mind. Strategic planning in mind, I recommend the way that I approach the markets, identifying what the important levels are on the higher time frames and look to base your trading decisions around those levels. Identify your key turning points in the market on the weekly chart, refine them on the daily, trade on the 3-hour, enter on the 15-minute. And for those of you who don't have the time to actively trade like that, just stick to the daily and the weekly. It's going to be very simple, man. Yes, so continued upside target here for me, guys, is 4,023. I would like to see a little bit of a healthy pullback and consolidation. It does seem like we are having a slight pause in momentum. That is also just the time of day. So we'll see what price is looking like around the daily candle close in about 3 hours. Again, I would like to see a nice healthy pullback here to 3,800. So if you're not in a trade yet, you are looking for a pullback. We are in a market structure where pullbacks are to be bought. So you're waiting for a healthy pullback, consolidation, and then a break of that consolidation to enter into a Bitcoin position if you're not in one. For Ethereum, I would not, same strategic method here. Ethereum on the daily looks quite good. My stop loss would be around the 140 level for my current long. If price does pull back and consolidate sideways and break to the upside, that is your next opportunity to enter. The next upside target for ETH/USDT is 159. The market structure shifts if we break significant support at 126.95. That's the secondary level of support below $140. The invalidation zone where I begin looking to short the market using ETH/USDT as a leading indicator is $119.32. If and when that does occur, then I'd be looking for downside targets at 81.79 on ETH/USDT and honestly significantly much lower, honestly down to $50 if this fails. Significant resistance on ETH/USDT still coming in at 167.32. It is very, very difficult to scream for a bull rally until we are above that level. If we are above that level, next significant resistance is at $257.55, and you're looking to scale profits out above swing highs. Those swing highs coming in around really 225, 241, and then probably looking to reduce risk right before we hit resistance around $250. And just as I was explaining with the Litecoin position, if we break that significant resistance, the next level of significant resistance is 353, and you're looking to take profits here and here. So, looking at the chart, it does seem like we are experiencing a short-term pullback. What is my target for the short-term pullback? 140 would be nice if you wanted to try and scalp a short. Of course, we're going to have to go over and look at the BitMEX charts for that. That wouldn't be an irrational decision, in my opinion. But you're not getting overly excited about your short positions. Again, very difficult, very risky trading against the dominant trend. So that's ETH and Bitcoin, as we do like to finish things off with. I'm going over to the BitMEX charts, where I know a lot of us are going to be executing our trades. Going to the daily, the BitMEX chart does look a little less positive than the BTC USDT chart, so do take that with a grain of salt. On the BitMEX chart, we actually do have the resistance trend line coming in at a more significant factor level. We have not opened and closed the daily candle above the resistance trend line. We did come just a few dollars away from my upside target on my BitMEX long, 39.30. So much more positive price movement. Excuse me, for the BitMEX pricing. So at this current stage in time, I would not be in a long position on XBT USD. And I know that might sound irrational, but I just have to trade each individual chart. Because we've already come up into the proximity of my take profit target. Now I am patiently waiting because the level of 40.96 still represents significant resistance, and that still represents a sell for me. So regardless of whether price wicks up above to test this area, or whether we end up opening and closing the daily candle below the resistance trend line and 37.80, we're still in a market structure right now where dips are technically to be bought. But for myself, I'm going to be a little cautious and wait to see how price responds around 40.96. Because that is still the technical sell, because that's still the higher time frame level of resistance. Getting above that level, we have our first trouble spot at 46.24. So that would be an area where one would want to potentially reduce risk, definitely look to reduce risk, and then definitely wanting to sell into 61.50. So we'll keep our eye on what happens here over the next few days, guys. Things do look good, but the USDT pairing more so than the Mex Chart. So keep in mind how the colors are being painted here, guys. The invalidation zone for XBT USD, again, for me, is going to be that 3,500, 3,550. If price ends up trading below those levels, then I will be in a positional short, looking at downside targets of 31.80 and 29.39, and not looking to be out of a short until price reverses convincingly. All right. ETH USD on BitMEX. Kind of the same thing. I wouldn't be surprised to see a local pullback to 137.55. We do have a little bit of local resistance at 145.05. We did briefly trade above that, tried to reclaim it, and closed underneath it. Now, if we continue to reject from this level, I would expect to see a healthy pullback and consolidation around 137.55. If you want to look at this alternatively and you think that this is an excellent shorting opportunity, your downside targets are clearly listed right here: 137.55, 128.90, and 123.31. Ideally, those are opportunities for buying until we have significant trend reversal. And for me, the invalidation zone for ETHUSD is $118. Below that level, again, I'm looking to be in a positional short trade until downside targets of, actually, I'd be looking at $97.60 or $100. I would probably increase my position at that time because I highly doubt that that level gets bought up again. I'm really looking, honestly, at downside targets of 80.60 and lower, depending on if support holds or not, because you don't know if it will. So you'd stay in the short until you get clear signs that you should not be. Just like you should stay in the long until you get clear signs that you should not be. As always, make sure to trail stops, reduce risk, take profits, and trade safely, guys. All right, guys, so I want to give a big shout out to everybody that's been joining in the chat room. Thank you so much for all the support, time, energy, effort, man. You guys are a fantastic crowd and audience. I'm glad to be here every day for you guys. Just to wrap up and finish on the normal stuff, guys, make sure that you guys head on over to x42.crackingcryptocurrency.com. We are giving away 5 masternodes of X42 coin. This has only been up for like, what, 3 hours now, and we already have, let me refresh the page. Loading. 315 entrants, man. Wow, that is absolutely fantastic, dude. Like, that's double just in the time I've done this show. So I think we're going to end up changing this to 2 weeks instead of 30 days, but plenty of time to get in. We're going to pick 5 random winners. 5 individuals are going to win a masternode worth of X42 coin. So proud supporter of the show, guys. Make sure you guys go check out X42 and give the crypto community some love, man, because we've been on hard times and we need everybody. So, regular end of the show. My name is obviously Justin Wise, the lead analyst, senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. This has been another episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. Hopefully today's show has helped crack cryptocurrency for you. If you guys enjoyed the content and you want to support the stream, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, give us a subscription. We highly appreciate the support, guys. Make sure you share the video around to your friends, because I do think this is important information for individuals who are attempting to speculate on the price of cryptocurrency and maybe doing it unsuccessfully. If you would like to support the stream in a more substantial way, you can, of course, come on over and support us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Cracking Crypto. The link is in the description down below. Give us a follow, give us a subscription. It helps keeps the lights on. You can also help keep the lights on by hitting up our Patreon if you're so interested, or purchasing some merch off our store. I have heard that drinking your morning coffee, the Cracking Cryptocurrency HODL mug, does provide you 85% grander returns on your trades and makes you 90% more attractive. Just speculation, although I do have some scientific case studies to prove that, guys. Let's see here. That's about all that I got for the show, guys. If you are interested in joining the Kraken Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group, getting access to the trade signals and setups, the private Discord, our resource library, our webinar series designed to teach you to be a profitable trader, all the information is at premium.krakencryptocurrency.com. Want to give a big shout out and thank you to all the new members that have been joining, guys. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Got 700 likes. Almost. Oh, 117 likes, guys. Very, very, very much appreciated, guys. Very humbled by the support. You guys are fantastic individuals. So that's it for me today, guys. Make sure that you guys trade safely until tomorrow. I'll be back here tomorrow around noon. Otherwise, guys, make sure you stop by the Discord, man, and keep the conversation going. That's where I am. That's where I'll be. Till tomorrow, guys. Trade safely. Peace out.